and welcome to the program. This edition of Newsroom series covering Nigeria's Northeast. I am Bukola Koka. First, the top stories. The senator representing Anambra South in the National Assembly, Senator Ifeanyi is dead. Sources close to the family confirmed his death, channels television saying he died in London. According to reports, the senator had traveled to London for a holiday as the National Assembly has gone on recess. His death is coming just a few days after the President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo, Chief Emmanuel Iwuanyanwu, passed on. The senator, who would have been 53 on September the 3rd, was first elected into the Senate under the platform of the Young People's Party, YPP, in 2019, and re-elected into the 10th Senate under the same platform, but defected to the All Progressives Congress last year. Meanwhile, the Senate says it's deeply saddened by news of the passing of the senator representing Anambra South Senatorial District. Senate President Godswill Akpabio describes him as a dedicated and passionate legislator whose contributions have left an indelible mark on our nation. He extended the Senate's sympathies to Senator Uba's family, friends, and constituents, and a heartfelt condolence to the government and people of Anambra State. Prior to his career in public service, Senator Ifeanyi distinguished himself as a businessman and philanthropist. As the founder of the CEO of Capital Oil and Gas Industries Limited, he made substantial contributions to Nigeria's energy sector and through the Ifeanyi Foundation provided support to the less privileged. And President Bola Tinubu is extending his condolences to the family of the late Senator Ifeanyi. The deceased, according to the president, was a renowned businessman and politician and the senator representing Anambra South Senatorial District at the National Assembly. President Tinubu commiserates with his friends and colleagues and the National Assembly and also the government and people of Anambra State over the sad loss. The president prays for the repose of the soul of the departed lawmaker as well as for strength and comfort for his family. And we begin in Gombe State, which has been crowned second best in climate performance ranking in Nigeria with an AA rating. During a high-level event in Abuja, the Federal Ministry of Environment, in conjunction with the Society for Planet Prosperity, SPP, allotted 182 points to Gombe for its climate governance record. And this was only surpassed by Lagos State, which claimed the top spot. Representing Governor Inuwa Yahaya at the award ceremony, the State Commissioner for Water Resources, Environment and Forestry says the award is one of the fruits of the vigorous reforestation programs and many other environmental projects implemented by the government since assumption in 2019.
Our Executive Governor of Gombe State, Muhammadu Ini Adamajan Gombe, CON, the Northern Governors, Chairman of the Northern Governors Forum, and the Green Governor has done so much. He has so much passion for the environment, and he believes that whatever you do now, the effect will be done, will be felt in future. So the consequences of what we are seeing right now with respect to degradation of the environment, the forest and everything, is the inaction of our past leaders. If the right things were done, I don't think we're facing what we're facing right now. However, now what we are supposed to do is all hands should be on deck. We are supposed to come together, think alike, and move in the same direction. The state governor is doing a lot, and I pray and I hope our neighboring states will follow suit, because our effort alone will not have any significant effect in terms of all the mitigation with respect to climate change. So I want to thank the organizer of this award, especially the Honorable Minister for Environment and the consultant. They have done a very great job, and we've been recognized today. Today Gombe State came second, and we have seen where we've been found wanting. We'll go back, we'll address them, and I can assure you when next time we come, Gombe State will be sitting on top by the grace of God.
571 pharmacies and medicine shops across Bauchi State have been sealed by the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria, PCN, following a major enforcement operation. The PCN has also raised concerns about growing market for substance abuse in Bauchi State, which is exacerbating local, social and security issues. Our correspondent Hajara Aliu now reports.
This is an enforcement operation in Bauchi Metropolis conducted by the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria, targeting stores found violating medicine safety standards and selling controlled drugs. During the operation, authorities discovered chilled and sealed cough syrup in one store, allegedly intended for drug abuse. The store was subsequently sealed. In another store, empty shelves were found, but upon further inspection, the owner was selling tramadol and diazepam, colloquially known as yellow boys.
Apart from these controlled drugs, tramadol and diazepam, there is nothing inside this shop. She says nothing.
Maybe they are using this place as a point for selling to those people.
One store owner claimed to purchase drugs from street hawkers.
Those people are walking around, so whenever they come to a shop, they'll ask you if you're interested. If you're interested, they buy. If you're not interested, they forget about your group. They don't have shop.
In a different pharmacy, expired drugs were discovered on the shelves.
Most of the patent medicine vendors are operating, are carrying out clinical activities far beyond their scope and knowledge. Like this particular premises now, they have stocks of tramadol and other substance of abuse which have been selling to the public without prescription, and they don't even understand the mode of action of these drugs. This we think is a great threat to public health.
The enforcement team carried out operations across 10 local government areas in Bauchi State. Following the operation, they briefed the media, revealing that 37 pharmacies, 144 patent medicine shops, and 390 illegal outlets were found in violation of regulatory standards and were closed. Violations included operating without registration, failure to renew premises certificates, illegal sale practices, inadequate documentation, large quantities of substances of abuse, and illegal distribution of used needles and syringes.
There's a regulatory agency, and the drugs are not articles of trade that you can just sell. You understand? And another thing again is that there's a large market for substance of abuse in Bauchi State.
Violations of regulations are punishable under the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria Establishment Act 2022 with fines up to 2 million naira or revocation of licenses. Hajara Aliu, Channels Television News.
In an effort to discourage the continuing brain drain seen in the mass exodus of medical practitioners who are in search of greener pastures, the Yobe State government has signed an agreement for the construction of 5 blocks of doctors' quarters at the Federal Medical Center, Unguru, Yobe State. Signing the contract on behalf of the state government, the Commissioner for Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Buba, charged the contractor to adhere to the building agreement. The project, which will cost 268 million naira, is expected to be completed in 4 calendar months.
His Excellency Honorable Memola Buni, in its effort to improve housing infrastructure of our state, has generously donated 5 blocks of 3-bedroom staff quarters at the Federal Medical Center Group. This donation is a testament of our commitment as the government of the people to enhancing well-being of our citizens and providing quality homes to tackle deficit and mass exodus of medical officers to urban areas due to lack of accommodation. The contract is awarded at a total sum of 168,864,729 naira to Adama Adamzo Standard Vision, having met all the requirements during the tendering process, with a completion period of 4 months. I would like to call on the contractor to strictly adhere to all the building standards and specifications.
The Taraba State Chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Mr. Isaiah Magaji, is asking the federal and state governments to address the growing hunger and anger in the land. Mr. Magaji stated this during a media briefing in Abuja, where he also alleged that palliatives meant for the people are diverted by a few.
It's the peak of the 2024 rainy season in Taraba State, and it is characterized by crises between farmers and herders, as well as the clashes between thieves and jukuns. Members of the Taraba State Chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria have gathered at the State Secretariat to seek divine intervention to avert a recurrence this year. Beyond the prayers, the association calls for improved security to enable farmers return to their farms, fearing the food crisis in the state may escalate.
Some people literally stay without food for days and weeks, and there is no hope for them getting anything at all from anywhere.
He also speaks on the recent murder of a traditional ruler and his son in the state.
Let the security operatives rise up and fish out these elements in the society.
Nevertheless, the police says it has taken proactive measures to ensure food security in Taraba State through a community engagement approach.
In the recent past, the onset of the rainy season was usually characterized by strife between communities and tribes, sometimes taking ethno-religious dimensions. This year happens to be an exception because of the proactive nature of all that we have, measures that we have taken. And this has to do with conflict resolution that is community-based, which the command has been using.
The police says it has launched discreet investigation into the killing of the monarch and his son, and they're optimistic of apprehending the perpetrators.
Welcome back. The Gombe State Police Command has paraded suspects over a range of crimes. At a briefing led by the Police Public Relations Officer ASP Buhari Abdullahi at the command's headquarters in Gombe, the state capital, the command says it has made great successes in keeping with its mandate, as indicated by the recent ones recorded in apprehending suspected criminals and bringing them to justice. The command nabbed a syndicate selling adulterated dry okra with large amounts of sawdust in it. The suspects were caught with large quantities of the ground okra powder in bags, and samples have been taken to the Standard Organization of Nigeria for testing. Another gang busted for selling fake fertilizers mixed with sand and fine stones at the cost of 540,000 naira to unsuspecting customers. And a more positive note, a 30-year-old physically challenged woman in Taraba State has won the hearts of many residents through her farming abilities in her farms. Instead of resorting to begging for alms on the streets, she has decided to adapt to disability, defying all odds by farming to earn a living. Despite the biting economic realities bedeviling Nigeria as a whole, this 30-year-old physically challenged resident of Lamido, Borno in Ardokola local government area of Taraba State has defied all odds to embrace farming as a means of livelihood in order to support her family. Talatu was born this way, but her condition worsened when she was struck by thunder at age 16. According to her, disability is not an excuse to become unproductive. Farming for her has become a hobby, as her condition does not permit her to step out to the market, streets, or for visitation, even as she solicits for assistance of at least a wheelchair to make life worthwhile for her.
It
is the will of God that a thunder strike has made me the way I am today. I was only outside when it was raining and the incident happened. My father took me to several medical facilities, but no solution. I lost my father a few years ago, and feeding became a big problem for me and my family members. I cannot stay without doing anything. If given the opportunity, I would like to have a large farmland, because where I farm outside our compound was leased to me because of my condition.
Haruna Galadima is her guide and reveals that she is a passionate farmer despite her condition and requires support to not just feed her family, but to also boost food security in Taraba State.
I saw two things in her condition and in the farm, what she's doing. It prompted me to pick an interest in her. Based on interview I did for her, she told me that where she was farming, she rented the place. So if government can render an assistance to such person by providing a very big land for her with fertilizer and all kind of farm tools, that she can open a kind of farm that will sustain her for the rest of her life.
Fortunately, help has come her way in form of a wheelchair by the Taraba State Chairman of Algon. Says there is ability in disability, and the state government is willing to facilitate more assistance, especially in terms of encouraging her to embrace mechanized farming in order to improve her livelihood.
I think whatever we give to that lady is not too much, because she deserves it. These are the kind of people we need to encourage, not only the lady, but all the disabled people that find themselves in that position. So we should not look down upon them, but we should always send our own hands of fellowship to support them as a when do, not only to give them peanuts as our own support, but give them what we call a sustained support that will stand the test of time, that will even help them to stand independently and even support their family.
He describes her as a shining example of a hard-working person who has not resorted to alms begging.
I have been seeing around me, within our locality, within our neighborhood, people that are able, not agreeing to do what exactly that lady is doing. And I want to believe, as individuals, philanthropic organizations, government, we need to encourage people like her and others to go back to the farm, which will go a long way in increasing or boosting our food production as a people and indeed as a local government or as a state.
Similarly, the member of the House of Representatives representing Karim Lamido Lau and Ardo Kola Federal Constituency, Honorable Mohammed Lauya, represented alongside the National Council for Women's Society, are also in the community to support her with farm inputs and other items.
The life of Talatu is a life that touches everybody. It's a life that gives any human being lessons. Even the devil knows that this woman is trying.
It has taught us a lot of lessons. You as a woman, it is not good for you to sit at home and keep lamenting that the situation in the country now is so hard that people hardly get 3 square miles a day. So why can't you come out like Talatu?
Farmer Talatu is also hoping that the state government will look beyond her condition to enroll all persons living with disability into its health insurance scheme for inclusiveness. Indeed, there is ability in disability. With peace and normalcy returning gradually to communities devastated by the Boko Haram insurgency in Michika and neighboring local government areas of Adamawa State, the senator representing Adamawa South, Binos Yaroe, and the vice-chancellor of Adamawa State University, Mubi, Dr. Stephen Lagu, have added their voices to the call on the people to check and discriminate tree felling and prevent further degradation of their environment. This is the central message at the 4th annual tree planting campaign held at the behest of the Ilia Kwache initiative with the support of the National Agency for the Great Green Wall.
For the inhabitants of communities who have witnessed firsthand the trauma and devastation of attacks by Boko Haram insurgents, life has picked up again, with many back to pursuing their daily living. But their livelihoods could be facing yet another threat caused by the twin evils of deforestation and desertification. In the search for ways to tackle these threats, climate change activists under the Elia Kwache initiative gather environmentalists and other stakeholders in Michika local government area of Adamawa State to educate residents on the gravity of tree cutting to the environment, as well as benefits of planting varieties of indigenous trees.
We can win the war against climate change, most especially desertification. Israel and the United Arab Emirates have proven that we have the capacity to turn deserts into a lush green environment. We cut down trees wantonly without provision for replanting, laying bare the earth's surface with the attendant challenges of erosion and desertification.
We have problem of desertification here because of falling of trees by our herders, and even our local community, they contribute a lot in destroying the trees. So we have serious problem. Climate change is also contributing to the desertification of Michigan.
At the main campus of Adamawa State University, Mubi, where the tree planting also is being encouraged, the Vice-Chancellor, Dr. Stephen Lago, commends the climate change activists behind the event for involving students.
The initiative being taken by your foundation is a music to our ears. I want to assure you that what we are doing today shall become a routine in the university. We want to entrench tree planting campaign as a regular event in this university.
Local organizations such as Kwache are increasingly helping to combat the issue of deforestation in communities affected by insurgency, to address desert encroachment and protect the environment against the impact of climate change.
Major part of the objectives is environmental protection. We are aware now that climate change is real, devastating, burning the world. Our world is on fire. Like I always say, in the past of the world, okay, the part of contribution we can do to mitigate and reverse climate change is tree planting.
Organizers believe helping these communities plant trees will give them one less thing to worry about as they resettle into their normal lives, a win-win situation that will also improve the environment and boost the chances of fully regaining their means of livelihood.
And that's our offering on the program today, and indeed for the entire week. But we'll be back again next week with another round of editions covering different regions of the country. I'm Bukola Koka. Bye for now.